Hey Bio Team. So you guys have learned that water molecules tend to diffuse from areas of high concentration and spread out to areas of low concentration. And biologists call this process of water diffusing osmosis. And so if something has the ability to attract water molecules, biologists say that it has osmolarity. Osmolarity is just the ability to attract water molecules. So in this case, the inside of this cell had a higher osmolarity than the solution outside of it because it was able to attract water molecules. And part of the reason for this is because the inside of the cell had these dissolved solute particles, in this case potassium ions, that increased the osmolarity of the inside of the cell. They increased its ability to attract water molecules because the charges on these particles were able to attract the water. So in this example, the cell attracted water into its membrane. But there's three conditions really that a cell could find itself in. It could find itself in a solution in which the outside of the cell had a higher osmolarity than the inside of the cell. That is, there's a higher concentration of dissolved particles outside of the cell, which would attract water out. The cell could also be in a solution that has the same osmolarity as the inside of the cell. That is, there's equal concentration of the dissolved particles both inside and outside the cell. And so you can see there's equal amounts of these dissolved potassium ions in and out of the cell. And so in this case, water would enter and exit the cell at the same rate. And so cells would stay approximately the same size. And last, a cell could find itself in a solution that had a lower osmolarity than the inside of its cell. And so in this example, there's a higher concentration of these dissolved solute particles inside of the cell, which would attract water in. And this can be dangerous to an animal cell because we don't have cell walls. If our cell membrane absorbs too much water, the cell can lyse or burst apart. And so there's a couple of words to describe osmolarity. We say something is hypertonic if it has a relatively high osmolarity. We say it's isotonic if things have equal osmolarity, equal ability to attract water. And we say that something is hypotonic if it has relatively low osmolarity. And so in our last example here, we would say that the cell was hypertonic because it had a higher osmolarity than the surrounding solution, and so it was able to attract water into itself. Whereas the solution surrounding the cell would have been hypotonic because it had a lower ability to attract water and had a lower osmolarity. And so that's it. And at this point, you guys have some practice problems. We'll see you next class.